Title: When the Screen Followed Me into Sleep. Author's statement of clarity and dream discernment. I write this with clarity, honesty, and reverence, understanding that dreams can be shaped by what the mind consumes while awake. This work is not written to glorify fear, obsession, or darkness, but to discern how immersion without balance can imprint itself upon the soul, especially in youth. I acknowledge that not every dream is spiritual in origin, yet Scripture teaches that the heart and mind matter deeply, as written in Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." This series exists to separate imagination from truth, conviction from condemnation, and to speak plainly that gaming addiction is a real experience, one that can quietly shape thoughts, sleep, and identity. I submit this writing under discernment, trusting God's wisdom above my own, as written in James chapter 1 verse 5. Introduction to the series. This series reflects a season of my teenage years, a time when my world revolved around a screen, a controller, and survival scenarios that felt more vivid than my waking surroundings. Horror survival games, especially the Resident Evil franchise, were not just entertainment to me, they were environments I lived in mentally. This is not a fictional exaggeration, but a truthful reflection of how repeated exposure, adrenaline, and obsession can cross the threshold from play into personal experience. The purpose of this series is not to condemn games or those who enjoy them, but to testify that obsession alters perception, even in sleep, and that discernment is necessary in all things, as written in 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. What follows is written as a continuous reflection, one flow, one unfolding awareness. The story. I was a teenager when the screen became my second set of eyes. After school, after dinner, after everyone else had gone quiet for the night, I would be there, controller in hand, navigating dark corridors, managing limited ammunition, listening for footsteps that were not supposed to be human. The Resident Evil world felt alive to me, calculated fear, survival pressure, constant vigilance. I told myself it was just a game, yet my heart raced as if my body believed otherwise. I played for hours, sometimes until sleep was no longer a choice but a collapse. When I closed my eyes, the game did not stop. The sounds followed me, the dim hallways rebuilt themselves behind my eyelids, the sense of being hunted crept into my dreams. I was not dreaming as myself anymore, I was surviving, scanning corners, conserving resources, bracing for sudden movement. Fear became familiar, and familiarity made it easier to accept. I did not recognize it then, but my mind was being trained. What I consumed daily shaped what surfaced nightly. Scripture later helped me understand this truth. As written in Romans chapter 12 verse 2, "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." At the time, my mind was not being renewed, it was being reinforced. There were nights I woke up unsettled, my heart pounding, the boundary between game and reality blurred. I was not possessed, not oppressed, but overstimulated and undisciplined. This distinction matters. Discernment taught me that not every troubling dream is spiritual attack, sometimes it is the harvest of what we repeatedly plant into our thoughts. Full disclosure matters here. Gaming addiction is real. It does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like lost sleep, constant preoccupation, emotional detachment, and dreams that no longer offer rest. I loved the challenge, the atmosphere, the escape, but I did not love the way it followed me into places meant for peace. God was patient with me even then. I did not know the language for conviction yet, but I felt the unease. As written in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11, He hath made everything beautiful in His time, also He hath set the world in their heart. That unease was not shame, it was an invitation to awareness. Looking back, I see a teenager searching for stimulation, control, and intensity, unaware that rest, identity, and purpose cannot be found in survival fantasies. The dreams eventually changed as my focus changed. What I fed my mind shifted, and my sleep followed. This story is not about fear winning, it is about discernment awakening. This series stands as testimony, not accusation. It is a reminder that what we allow into our minds matters, that balance is wisdom, and that even in seasons of obsession, God remains present, guiding gently rather than forcefully. As written in Psalm chapter 23 verse 2, He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, He leadeth me beside the still waters. This is the beginning of that understanding, my understanding, and I write it plainly. This is my reflection toward clarity.